This is the third video on the topic of diabetes mellitus. In part 1 and 2, we have covered the introduction to the clinical condition and the pathogenesis of the disease. In this video, we will learn about the clinical manifestations and complications of long-standing hyperglycemia, which is the main feature of diabetes mellitus. It is recommended to watch part 1 and 2 if you have not watched it before for better understanding. Clinical features. The typical manifestations are polyuria, which is excessive urination, polydipsia, which means excessive thirst, and polyphagia, which is excessive eating. Individuals may present with the symptoms of ketoacidosis. The honeymoon phase refers to the period shortly following diabetes diagnosis when the endogenous insulin secretion by the pancreas is still able to control blood glucose level. In this diagram, clinical manifestations of diabetes mellitus are shown. Those which are mentioned in blue are more common in type 1, whereas the rest are found in both types. Symptoms which occur due to CNS involvement are polyuria, polydipsia, and stupor. Systemic manifestations include respiratory problems such as hyperventilation and Kussmaul breathing. Other manifestations include visual defects, acetone breath, abdominal pain, etc. In this table, type 1 and type 2 features are compared. The onset is sudden in type 1, whereas gradual in type 2. Type 1 arises in childhood and type 2 occurs in adults. Patients of type 1 diabetes mellitus are usually thin or normal, whereas obesity is common in type 2. Type 1 is linked to HLA genes in many cases, but there is no linkage to HLA genes in type 2. Instead, it is linked to diabetogenic genes. There is absolute insulin deficiency in type 1 as compared to relative insulin deficiency in type 2. Ketoacidosis is common in type 1 but rarely occurs in type 2. Autoantibodies are found in type 1 but not in type 2. Insulitis and beta cell depletion are features of type 1 diabetes mellitus. Now, the late complications of diabetes mellitus. These include effects on the large and small blood vessels known as macro and microangiopathy, effects on the nephron and chronic kidney disease called nephropathy, damage to the retina with defective vision, that is retinopathy, effects on the peripheral nerves, which is called peripheral neuropathy. Morphological changes and consequences of long-standing hyperglycemia. Reduced mass of islets, more marked in type 1 diabetes, insulitis with leukocyte infiltration, amyloid replacement of islets and fibrosis in long-standing type 2 diabetes, atherosclerosis in large and medium-sized arteries predisposing to cardiovascular disease, arteriolosclerosis causing stiffening of the arterioles resulting in hypertension. Diffuse or nodular mesangial glomerulosclerosis occurs associated with basement membrane thickening. Scarring of the kidneys may follow with renal failure. Pyelonephritis is common in diabetics. Visual impairment, total blindness, cataract formation, and glaucoma may occur. Retinopathy may be of two types, proliferative or non-proliferative. In non-proliferative retinopathy, retinal hemorrhages, exudates, microaneurysms, venous dilations, and thickening of the retinal capillaries may occur. The proliferative retinopathy exhibits neovascularization and fibrosis. Vitreous hemorrhages and retinal detachment may ensue. Peripheral neuropathy is usually symmetrical, affecting the sensory as well as motor nerves of the lower extremities. There may be impotence and disturbances in bowel and bladder function due to neuropathy. Mononeuropathies may be found such as foot drop, wrist drop, or any of the cranial nerve palsies. The last video, part 4, is about the management of diabetes and it will be uploaded soon. Thank you so much.